Welcome back to the wrestling bubble. Oh my gosh. Snooze fest. Monday Night Raw. Can we go down the match card, please?
Monday Night Raw started off with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. Basically, long story short, Paul Heyman finally gave us an explanation why he betrayed Roman Reigns and CM Punk. What is about 3 weeks later?
Yeah, they figured they had to give the people something. We had to make it make sense. So that's what you got.
Yeah, as far as like Paul Heyman explaining how CM Punk made him choose between him and the tribal chief.
Yeah, how Roman Reigns wasn't there for him when he got beat down by, the
Solo
bloodline.
pretty
Solo
much.
Sikoa's version of the bloodline. I mean, obviously, Paul Heyman had a point, for his reasons, but it's like, man, Paul, like you took it this far. Wow.
Right.
Paul Heyman's feelings was hurt. He had to do all this.
To screw both of them. CM Punk for putting him in an ultimatum and Roman Reigns leaving him hanging for the bloodline.
He went through a table.
A table for him.
Oh, man. Okay, so what else did we have?
Well, before we move on, I actually want to talk a little bit more about this segment. Just a little bit more. I don't know where I agree with Paul for the betrayal a little bit, to be honest. I get where he's coming from. It's like, for example, for CM Punk case, you've been gone for 10 years. You come back, all of a sudden you want Paul Heyman back? Dude, you was gone for 10 years. Paul has outgrown you. He got a tribal chief who was a champion for almost 5 years.
The head of the table.
For real. He got everything. Money, fame, you name it. And then you have Roman Reigns, who lost to Cody Rhodes, which was one of Paul Heyman's biggest, upset. Like, he put Roman on a pedestal. Now, if anyone knew, when he was with Brock Lesnar, he always told Roman one time that he could see Roman making it far in the WWE, which he did. He was on the cover 3 times so far. So,
But the cover of 2K?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But the point of this segment was Paul Heyman, sneaky guy, came out here to trick Jey Uso into a title shot with Seth freaking Rollins.
And that would be our main event
later tonight. So moving on from this segment, we have our first match, Penta versus JD McDonough with the Judgment Day.
I like Penta. Judgment Day stale. So, of course, we get the same Judgment Day trickery in this match. Penta is good, but this was a nothing match. Like, I really didn't care for this match at all.
No, honestly, I agree. Penta is good. JD McDonough, my opinion, is also decent in the ring. But I feel like this is just another build-up of Finn Balor boiling at this point, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I know down the road, they're about to, I think in Backlash now, they're going to have, Penta versus Dominic Mysterio again.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'll actually have a good match.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
But, I mean, do we
I
get
just hope
Finn
Dominic
Balor,
wins, though.
But do we get Finn Balor
screwing
Dom?
I hope not.
Something like that, or AJ Styles screwing Dom because of Finn Balor. I mean, he called him Prince.
Yeah, during the Monday Night Raw, he did.
And then Dominic even hinted that you guys have history.
Yeah, they have history. So now Dominic told Finn Balor he needs to fight AJ Styles next week.
Yeah.
And then
the way Finn responded, though,
I know
he looked like he was pissed.
He was pissed.
Yeah, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm just kidding with you."
Yeah, because you have Penta having a title shot, you have AJ having a title shot, And then you have Dominic complaining, talking about, oh, this is how it feels to be a champion. Who's Finn, who actually had been a champion for many years, getting all boiled with Dominic, like, see, you can't handle this. So he's like getting upset, but then you have Dominic, quote unquote, thinking that Finn is still on his side. But I have a feeling Dominic's not stupid.
No, I think Dominic is gonna be 2 steps ahead of them.
I hope so.
Yeah, because Dominic always looks all carefree and like he's an idiot, but look, Dominic's playing chess. All right.
Yeah, because it's like, come on, this is Finn Balor. He betrayed Damian Priest.
Yeah.
And pretty much anybody he bees with. But basically, we already know Penta beat JD McDonough. So we have another segment that happened. Just a little short segment with Jason Waller and Adam Pearce talking about, because I guess last week Jason Waller was explaining to Nick Aldis or Adam Pearce, whatever, that he wants to start having singles matches. And all you hear Jason Waller saying, I don't want to fight him. And here comes Austin Theory.
Yeah. Grayson Waller, of course, he's trying to get out of the match with this mystery opponent.
Right.
So then he pretty much gaslights, or he gasses up Austin Theory in order to get him to volunteer to be in the match. And then Austin Theory's like, well, wait a minute. Who's my opponent?
We're just making a special guess.
Right.
So fast forward, United guys, we have the return of Sheamus as Austin Theory's opponent. Honestly, to me, it was a decent match.
The crowd loved Sheamus.
Yes.
They love Sheamus. From the time his music hit until the match was over, they were cheering for everything Sheamus did.
Everything. And I'm glad it wasn't a short match like when Jey Uso fought Austin Theory in 6 seconds. They actually build it up. And honestly, I feel like that was the only time the crowd was, well, there was another match the crowd was loud for. But
it was a good match. Mm-hmm. Like, we knew Austin Theory was losing, but it was a very entertaining match. So, I mean, that's a banger for me. It didn't have to be, 1,000 kickouts or nothing like that. Just a good match. And I'm glad Sheamus is back. I was wondering what happened to him.
I know. I was like, gosh, I hope he's not featured in Endeavor 2.
Nah.
But I do have a feeling down the road he's going to win the Intercontinental Championship.
Honestly, Sheamus is somebody that I would have loved to see John Cena come across on his way out. Oh, my gosh. Anyways, enough of that.
So basically, everyone knows Sheamus picked up the win. And again, earlier, after that, they announced how Dominic is going to be fighting Penta at Backlash. Who didn't see that coming? And then also with AJ coming into the Judgment Day, also asking for a shot. During those segments, you have Chad Gable running to the New Day.
Yeah, this is what I want to see. Like, Chad Gable, he was defensive at first. Like, what are y'all up to?
Right.
And then Xavier, it's like, hey, relax, man, relax.
Yeah, because they was basically hyping Chad of how, you show those luchas. How people just randomly get title shots, just like they brought up the War Raiders getting another title shot for the tag team. They're hyping up Chad, talking about, we should be fighting the Creeds.
Yeah.
Though I honestly love the New Day's new character. And I really hope they actually put him in storyline to fight other, tag teams and not make it like them being traditional champs. Because when the War Raiders were champions, I forgot they was champions 90% of the time.
Honestly, like, I want to see bigger stories with the New Day and anything that Chad Gable's in. Like, give it more time on the show. It's clearly more interesting than like 90% of the show.
Yeah, because, Chad has this big vendetta about luchas.
Exactly. And then New Day, I mean, look, they were super hot with the heel turn on Big E, okay? And then they cooled off. Now they're starting to be seen a little bit more. Look, I need a little bit more and a little bit more than that. Because anytime the New Day or Chad Gable's on the screen, You about to be entertained. Like, and I need more of that. Some of those matches, like the Lyra Valkyria matches, that go longer than they probably should. Like,
Yeah.
cut some of that. Anything with someone like, I know they're on SmackDown, like B-Fab and Meech, and like,
Yeah.
look, cut their matches a little shorter. We need the good stuff needs to be a little bit longer, and the good stuff isn't always the main event stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, because the mid card's actually pretty entertaining right now.
Exactly. And speaking of Lyra, we had a segment.
Now hold
After
on.
that.
With that same New Day and Chad Gable segment, Becky Lynch walks in.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
she walks up and
Xavier.
yeah, Xavier says something to her.
About how dare Lyra treat you like that, like basically disrespecting you and stuff like that. So now you have all the heels looking out for each other. Because remember before, no one in the locker room wanted to talk to the New Day,
Right.
but now everyone's starting to see like Chad being disrespected by the Luchas. Then you have Becky being disrespected by her, one of her people who looked up to her and stuff like that. But Becky still got a few cheers. But as you say, as Becky was walking from the New Day, she comes out and then all of a sudden she's getting boos. And then she's trying to ask the crowd, I'm a little confused, which I was confused too. Just last week, y'all was telling her one more time. And then now it's all of a sudden it's boo. But I guess they're booing more because she attacked Bayley than Lyra, in my opinion. Because when Lyra came out, she got a few woo, whatever the bird calls.
But it's like now we know you were the one that attacked Bayley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think more people is more interested in Becky versus Bayley than Becky versus Lyra. Because to me, Lyra, we all know she's losing the championship at Backlash. Let's just be honest. And I hope when she loses it, she starts having a different attitude. Because this babyface Lyra is not really working for me. It's stale, it's boring, it's dry. Her promos are okay. Like this whole segment to me was sloppy.
I feel like she's gonna have a Cody Rhodes, John Cena moment where she's not gonna take it as far as it needs to go to get the job done. And Becky Lynch, being the experienced one,
definitely
she's gonna take advantage.
Of course.
And then that's how she's gonna win. That's gonna be their way of elevating that title by making Lyra chase. Because she didn't really have to chase, she won a tournament.
Yeah.
Right? So now it's like, okay, you're going to be champ again, don't worry. But now you need that adversity. You need that Cody Rhodes adversity when he was facing Brock Lesnar for no reason.
Yeah.
Even just like she about to lose his belt for no reason and just to get it back. Because like we need to see Lyra face some adversity to see if some personality can be squeezed out of her. Some charisma.
Yeah, because she's stale in my opinion.
Yeah, and if we get heel Lyra as a result, if that's what it takes, then let's have it. I will take it because right now she's boring.
She is. The only part of the segment I like is when Lyra told Becky she is the queen of recycling. Because, you have Becky saying how she don't understand why people is booing her because of Bayley. She said Bayley was trash, so she took out the garbage. Then she said now she has to deal with the recycling of Lyra. So then you have Lyra entering out talking about Bayley's pretty much the queen of recycling. She's been recycling the same moves. She also been recycling the same old act for years. And she basically just like, you haven't changed nothing. It's like, okay, when you're heel Becky, when you're big time Bex, when you're babyface Becky, you're the man. You really haven't changed anything. And she's right. I'm sorry. That right there, that whole part right there made me laugh right there. Because like now you're calling Becky out on her crap.
Yeah, she was shooting on her. Like, look, you just leave and come back. You're basically Charlotte Flair with red hair. Okay,
right.
that's how she was talking to her. Like, just pointing out, like, look what you do. Look, when she came back, what year was that? Where she came back to SummerSlam or?
Yeah, when she beat
it was SummerSlam,
Bianca.
right? Beat Bianca in like 6 seconds. Come in, man, handle slam, 1, 2, 3. So then she comes back beats up Bailey. We eventually find out, right?
Right.
So then she's inserted into the tag team championship match for WrestleMania.
Just to lose it. Just to lose the belt. That to me,
hey,
it is what
just
it is.
to lose that belt,
right?
To chase another,
Exactly.
just like that.
Ridiculous. But we'll see how this storyline goes at the Backlash. So moving on, we have Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez.
I like this match. We knew Io was not losing. Okay, we knew that, but I also felt like I was gonna be entertained. Like both ladies could wrestle, so I just sat back and just accepted it for what it was worth. It was a good TV match.
It was a good match. I like that Perez has really improved in the ring. Really improved, like to the point, hopefully, but to the point that she actually been fighting most of the main eventers such as Io, Rhea Ripley, and stuff like that. I see that her thing right now is attacking the knee, but she's trying to take them out and stuff. She's showing a lot more aggressive attitude, which I like. You have like Roxanne sometimes slapping you in the face during the match.
Yeah.
You know, doing cartwheel on her neck and stuff.
She letting them know you ain't finna walk all over me. Yes. Look, I'm new here, but I've been doing this for a long time.
Right. Cause I believe they said she's been wrestling since 15 years old.
Yeah. She was taught by Booker T, right?
Right.
And what Booker T say? He here for the checks and championships.
And that's what she's been doing. She says she is the prodigy. So, hey, prodigy up, girl. I see her, and I hope when she finally moves to the main event, Triple H book Roxanne right. She has put in a lot of work in her character to the point she finally put it all together. She, like, come on, she's floating everywhere to the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, just the simple fact that she keeps mixing it up with the women on the main roster and the main event scene, right? Everybody that she's been involved with, main eventers. So I think she's in a good spot starting out, you know, and it's not like they just kind of brought her up and we don't know who she is. You know, she was in the Royal Rumble. They already explained everything about her to the audience and whatnot. She did really good in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, she was the longest. She lasted the longest. Like, I think that's an hour and 10 minutes or something because she came in number 3.
And fast forward, we see she's got a, like, you know, she's obviously got a goal, and it's to basically put the women on notice on the main roster that she may be new here, but she runs this division now.
Just like Pat McAfee said, the NXT women's division is stacked.
Yep.
That's why I'd probably have Roxanne floating because who else is in the main roster that can go against Io right now?
I mean, think about it, though. Roxanne, when Roxanne changed her character in NXT and went after that women's world championship and won, that completely flipped the women's division. And that's when it truly became the best women's division.
Yeah, because she took it from Lyra. Boring again.
Yeah. That's when you have like more work rate than anything, but then you got way more characters out of the title reign of Roxanne. I mean, it was like attitude shift. And then you seeing it's gonna happen on the main roster the same way. Roxanne's coming in and she's gonna affect the other women, and she about to get it smoking on the main roster, because then you got Julia there with her, you got Stephanie Vicker, and the rest of the other ones that's coming. Because I mean, you got Jordan Grace. It's just a matter of time before she comes up.
Jada Parker. I
mean, we could keep naming because they got plenty of them.
My only concern is I hope Triple H has plans for them, because right now his creativity to me is just same old, same old. Like right now, when they have John Cena versus Randy Orton, how many times we gotta keep seeing that? Like 25 years in the making.
Yeah, it's like the matchups I'm not gonna say every matchup, but
Not
like for
yet.
the most part, usually the matchups that we get, we don't mind seeing or we would like to see, right? But it becomes very predictable because the story is too predictable. Because it's not much of a story in the first place.
Exactly. That's
So
what
that's it's when the booking is that predictable.
yeah,
you
it
know
becomes stale, and that's probably why we felt like Raw was like,
yeah,
eh.
it pretty much predict everything that happened on Raw.
So of course you guessed it, Io won by a pinfall. This little roll up. That's how she beat Roxanne. So we had the debut of Rusev versus Otis from the Alpha Academy. I feel like the match was okay. Otis held his own, made Rusev look superior. And then, Rusev made Otis look like he was doing some type of work on him. What is his new thing? Like the Redeemer
Yeah.
for people now. He from AEW to now he's making it a different way, trying to show people like sometimes you just gotta be ruthless.
Yeah, he's trying to. That's his way of bringing out the best in everyone. Especially when it's the people he sees, he doesn't feel like they're trying hard enough or whatever, right? So he's gonna like motivate them in his own special way.
Mm-hmm. Pain, crush.
Yeah, like I mean, this was just this was a match, and it was more like the beginning of a story between these two. Well, Rusev versus Alpha Academy, really.
Yeah. I feel like them because he actually got a little better reaction than Aleister Black, in my opinion.
Oh, his reaction was much better.
Right.
The same as tonight. I mean, like he's being a really good heel.
Mm-hmm. And then going against the Alpha Academy, who's like one of the biggest baby faces on Raw right now, was a good thing. So now people's already booing him and stuff like that. Like he already has the crowd like paying attention to him and everything. To the point like he did beat, which we all saw this coming, Otis with his accolade.
Made him tap out.
Yes.
Otis held out for as long as he could. But,
he tried, yeah.
You know, he was tapping.
And then of course, you have Rusev holding it even longer after he tapped to the point.
Yeah, you got like backstage officials, refs coming out, trying to pull him off.
After
Eventually,
the match,
he lets go.
Because he attacked, before he attacked Otis, he attacked Tozawa because he wouldn't let go of the hold the first time. Tozawa got
in his face and everything.
Right. Talking about we could fight right now. And the Russo's like, nah, no. Walking out of the ring, you guessed it. As soon as Tozawa turned his back, you had Rusev attacking Tozawa for like a good 10 seconds. Went back to Otis to the point he ripped his shirt, put him back in the accolade with his shirt next to Rusev. Sorry. To the point, like he said, all the backstage people trying to pull him to the point. Adam Pearce trying to get him off. Because pretty much Otis passed out at this point.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, you had Natalya holding back Maxine Dupree. That's a little suspect to me, but we'll see what happens from there. Because the whole point of Adam Pearce coming out, we came out with the next segment, which was a draw out segment with Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even pay attention to this.
No,
this was so boring.
It was boring.
I'm not interested in this match whatsoever. Like, I like Pat McAfee to a certain extent. Okay. I don't really care for him on commentary that much. Like I liked him a few years ago and he's just not been the same ever since. It's almost like it's forced now.
Yeah.
And then, I like Gunther, but this is just like so we remember Gunther's on the roster because he doesn't have a belt and he's got to have a reason to be on TV. So this is what they thought of.
During the segment, you had Pat explain to Gunther let's just be honest, he loses to a lot of mid-carders.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and then you have Pat McAfee. As Pat McAfee, you're always overlooking the little guys. And then yet they all beat you. So would Pat beat Gunther at Backlash?
No.
I hope not. I swear to
he
God.
He better not.
Because it's like, dang, this dude hold Intercontinental Championship for 666 days, right?
It has to mean something.
Right. Then he holds the title for almost 300 days or whatever.
And that has to mean something too.
You can't put the title on the guy who's been holding the title for like 80-90% of the time since he's been with WWE to lose to mid-carders. I don't care if people say, oh, he'll be fine, but how can we believe that he was a champion for 666 days for Intercontinental and then a champion for almost 300 days and you lose to
a damn commentator, okay?
Right?
An announcer. What? Look, Gunther has to win, and he's got to be brutal. Okay,
and they need. Where is Ludwig Kaiser?
I don't know,
but they need to put them back together.
Look, apparently Triple H forgot he was there too. We haven't seen him since around the time Charlotte made that comment about Kaiser being in her DMs, which nobody believed.
Right. I hope he doesn't become featured ever. Cause he
I don't think he's going nowhere. But at the same time, it seemed like Triple H don't know how to take advantage of this dude. Like, cause Kaiser is super talented. I love his heel work. We need a heel like that on TV right now. That'd be nice.
I agree.
So maybe since Sheamus just came back, they'll continue whatever they had going on.
We don't need another Sheamus versus Ludwig now.
But yeah, that's probably what he's gonna do.
Jesus Christ!
Now that I think about it, I mean,
might as well just put
everything
Pete
else
Dunne
is predictable.
Tyler Bate in this at the same time.
Hey, say their names and they'll appear.
I can't.
Look, I'm telling you, that's probably exactly what's gonna happen.
Back.
Sheamus just came back.
Yeah. But I really hope I
can't look if we see a backstage segment, like a little run into it, like, oh, I see you're back now. So we'll probably end up getting something like that, where they cross each other in the back, and then they start to feud again.
Like I said, I'm looking forward for Ilya Dragunov coming back. I can't wait till he comes back. I really could care less. When is he supposed
to come back?
Hopefully in the summertime.
Oh my gosh, hopefully.
Or no later than SummerSlam.
He's been out forever.
Well, he had a,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And hopefully he comes back with a great reaction and Triple H has something to do with him, because right now it's like there's certain stars I want to see push that's not being pushed. And it's like, okay, let's start with Jey Uso. I'm happy he won the title, but I'm ready for that belt to come off of him.
We'll get to that.
Right. Because after this segment, we have the main event. Jey Uso versus Seth
freaking Rollins.
Alongside with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman.
So, for me, this was the only reason to stay up this late, okay? Because this match, I was like, okay, first, I want to see if they actually try and shock everybody with the Jey Uso loss. No way in hell they're doing it on Monday Night Raw. He just won it at WrestleMania. They ain't gonna do him like that. Ain't nobody gonna do him like that. Nah, he ain't gonna do him like that. So, the match starts. It starts off kind of slow.
Very slow.
So, immediately I'm thinking, okay, so they only booked this match so Seth Rollins can give him a nice looking match to start off his title run.
Pretty much.
So that's what this was all about. Because, I mean, okay, so he didn't know he was going to face you, so he couldn't prepare to fight you, even though y'all done fought before.
What did it say, about 7 months or whatever?
Yeah. I mean, but it's like he know how you wrestle anyways. I mean,
let's be honest, Jay don't have a lot of moves.
Exactly.
It's just super kick, spear, frog splash, Samoan drop, super kick, spear.
Look, man, some of the stuff he kicked out of, I'm like, okay, so apparently when you get that title, you get super strength now.
Right.
Like, he tried to hit a spear and Seth Rollins countered it into a pedigree.
Yep.
And you know how Jey Uso spears. He basically just jumps towards you. It's not even a spear. But this time he kept his head down. He couldn't even see where he was going in the first place. And then Seth just catches him in the pedigree. But he did it without actually holding his arm, so that was kind of how they tried to explain it away. Oh, he didn't get all of it. So Jey kicks out. 2 count. What else?
Next bit, we know what we have is he finally hit Seth Rollins with the spear.
Yeah.
For another 2 count. Then you have Braun Breaker trying to interfere. You have Paul Heyman distracting the ref as Braun Breaker speared Jey Uso. And I believe Seth Rollins also hit him with his finisher, sorry. Curb stomp, yes. And he's still kicked out.
Like I said, when you get that world title, all of a sudden, you get a little tougher.
When you start getting 3 against 1, you have Sami Zayn returning with the hurts ribs and everything. You remember last week he got attacked by these guys, minus Paul Heyman, and finished that story. You have Braun Breaker spear Sami Zayn to get him out of the equation. And then, of course, as Seth Rollins was about to finish up the match, you get the return of CM Punk.
The crowd went crazy. And CM Punk went crazy.
Took everybody out with a chair.
Just smashing Braun Breaker with a chair. Or he tossed it in his face. And then he booted the chair into Braun Breaker's face. Picks the chair up, continues towards the ring. And then he just goes ham on Seth Rollins. Obviously that's the end of the match. DQ. Jey Uso still the champ.
Seth Rollins gets screwed.
So this isn't over, but you kind of have to wonder, okay, what's going to be more of the focus? Is it going to be CM Punk, Seth Rollins, or is it going to be Seth Rollins still trying to get the title off of Jey? Is it going to end up being a triple threat? Does this mean Logan Paul doesn't stand a chance?
I don't think Logan Paul is going for the belt probably until SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe SummerSlam. Jey Uso probably going to hold the belt till SummerSlam.
We'll see.
But as everyone knows, yes, the match ended in DQ. So that concludes that match with CM Punk coming out, saving Jey Uso with the chair. And honestly, my thought of Raw was still stale and boring for some reason. I really wasn't into Raw. I don't know. I can't even tell you what part I was more excited about. Maybe the part when CM Punk came and probably woke the crowd up a little bit.
For me, it was the New Day backstage segment with Chad Gable.
Right.
It was...
Chad Gable interfering against
I like
Penta.
the Roxanne EO match because I like seeing Roxanne in something important, at least. You know, they're keeping her on weekly, so that's a good sign, at least. And she's looked strong. She hasn't looked weak, really, but obviously this is the main roster, so she gets pinned on certain things that she would have always kicked out of on NXT.
I feel like it's BS for Roxanne to debut like this. I feel like once they was done with her on NXT, then move her out to the main roster and probably get a couple reps in. I like that she's fighting main eventers, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't, because now she's just getting pin after pin after pin. To the point I'm starting to question, is she still going to be with the company after this?
Well, I mean,
look what they did with Cora Jade. Look what they did with Cora Jade.
Yeah, I mean, but this is definitely not Cora Jade.
I get that.
Cora Jade always looked like she was still trying to figure out what she's doing in the ring.
What I'm saying is
Cora Jade was never world champion either.
No.
And she's injury prone.
But Braun Strowman has been champion and they still released him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Plus he wasn't a good wrestler.
No kidding. That's why I was surprised he signed him back.
Roxanne, good wrestler, not injury prone. Was a world champ as well. Actually pushed the women's division to become the best women's division. So definitely not in the same category.
Well, we'll see.
And Braun Strowman never pushed the men's division
Nope.
to be better.
He pushed Bronson Reed.
Okay. Bronson Reed pushed Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed thought of like splashing Seth Rollins like 6 times with the tsunami.
They didn't need Braun Strowman in the first place.
He came up with that. That wasn't even creative that did that. That was Bronson Reed. Look, he was seizing the moment. He was living in the moment. That's what made him break out and actually get noticed. Who'd he talk to backstage when he was like, "Oh, okay, I see how this place works. I gotta
Adam
go
Pearce.
out." Yeah. But it started right there.
Mm-hmm. But we'll see what they do. Roxanne Perez. But like I said, Raw to me wasn't really interesting. To me, it felt stale. This is probably to me the worst Raw.
Yeah, this was like a 3 or about 3 or 4 out of 10. Not a good episode. If you did not see it, you didn't miss anything. I wouldn't even bother going back to watch anything, honestly. If I'd missed this, nope. You didn't miss nothing.
No, not at all. But that concludes our review of Raw tonight. Please like, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and let us know in the comments. Don't be shy. Just tell us what you think about Raw tonight. Like, share, maybe you felt something that you thought was interesting. What do you think about Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins? Or possibly Jey Uso versus Logan Paul? Should Logan Paul be the one to take the belt off of Jey Uso? What do you think of Jey Uso's title run? How do you like about Chad Gable and this lucha? Honestly, I'm very interested in seeing Chad Gable versus Penta again. We'll see how that goes. And how do you think about the women's division finally stepping it up a little bit with Roxanne, possibly Julia coming, and Stephanie Vaquer coming to Raw?
And with that said, with all those recent releases, somehow, after cutting the fat, after cutting the ones who wasn't working hard enough, etc., somehow after all that, this show was still boring as fuck.